or female must be in that hash mark for the other counterpart to start working, as Eric Cardona on your screen is set with a set of 8 cleans. Alex Oliveras on the floor for the Breakers. Vilma Rosario in the hash mark to his left, right of your screen. Lions on a slight lead right now as Rosario goes for the Breakers.
That is Emiliana Guerra for the Lions.
So on the floor, you're going to see that referee in the black polo. You're going to look for that hand to go up. That hand goes up. That lets you know, that lets me know they have less than 5 repetitions remaining in the element.
Yep, what refs are really looking here is for that full extension of the elbow and the hips to lock out at the top of that movement.
Guerra finishes up her dumbbell thrusters as Medina. You last saw him in Miami. You last saw him in the CrossFit Games, and he is back competing and fighting for these Lions.
That is Mario Santaella.
Thank you for correcting me. It's more, I always get those two confused, but again, you're gonna see Medina later on. I guarantee you'll see him on this floor. Santaella, yes, fresh from the CrossFit Games, onto his dumbbell thrusters as Rosario finishes up for the Breakers. It's about a 3-rep lead right now for the Lions as Guerra back onto the floor. It seems like there was a fault on the Lions side, just about costing him 1 rep. Guerra and Santaella are on the floor. Here comes Medina onto his cleans.
Chelsea Sellers on the hash mark. If you don't know Chelsea Sellers, you're about to. So impressive to watch.
I think one of the strongest, not just females, overall players of all conferences on the grid floor for the Lions.
I would say so. We're looking at Vita Vederkin
along with Alex Brousseau on his dumbbell thrusters, trying to make up ground. Again, 2 players for the Breakers that are going to be vital going into today's match if they want to come out with the win.
It looks like the Breakers are 1 rep behind from the Lions. Chelsea Sellers and Vita Vederkin making it to the barbell at almost the exact same time.
Absolutely. Can Brousseau keep him up? It's going to come down to Sellers and Vederkin.
Oh, Sellers is on the dumbbells. Fault on the Breaker side.
As Chelsea Sellers and Marcos Medina cross the finish line. Lions do not skip a beat without their head coach, Jamie Godin. Take race number 1 as the Breakers cross the finish line. Throughout today's day, if you're new to grid, a race win gets you 2 points. As long as you finish the race underneath the allotted time cap, it'll get you 1 point. One thing to look forward to, I hope to see it, is that white bonus flag. If each team has 1 bonus flag to throw throughout a match, they throw it. The winner, whoever wins it, gets an extra point to the added total. What a start to this match between the Breakers and the Lions.
Lions came out strong, but it looks like the Breakers were able to keep up. So it looks like it's going to be a really tight, really nice match.
Yes, it seems like they got to break in to this race. And you saw them, how they come out in Orlando compared to now. Do you see a difference?
I definitely see a difference. The Breakers look a lot more sure of themselves. They look a lot more confident. Their communication looks a lot more better from player to player on that partner forward.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break, come back to the action. Do not go anywhere.
You get so tired and then you ask yourself why you're doing this. It becomes a relationship, you know? You have another husband, you have a girlfriend, you have like all that. When you prepare to compete in CrossFit, you have to be good at mostly everything. In Grid League, it's not the same, not the same. But in Grid League, you just have to prepare for like what you're really good at. You know, we have like 20 people and every single person has a role. I'm an utility player, so I can do heavy weights, I can do body weight things, I can do some gymnastics, but we also have gymnastics players, we have weightlifting players. Basically, I'm here in United States because of Grid League. None of these, like me going to the games, would have happened if it wouldn't be because of Grid League.
One of my dreams, it was always to speak English. Like, I really wanted to speak English, but I always lived in South America. Like, I was living in Venezuela, and then I moved to Argentina, and you have to speak Spanish. Like, you didn't have anyone to practice with, you know? Grid League really helped me. I came here first to compete in Grid League, and I was training with an American like every single day, and I just learned. Every time I will read a text, I will try to translate it and like try to see the words that I didn't know, and I will try to like remember it and like learn new words every day, you know. And then I did it. My husband met me because of Grid League. He found like a video of me doing a snatch. He watched that video and then he told me, he said like, damn, who's that girl? He had to reach out to a friend. She told me that a person reached out to her and that.
Welcome back to the action, ladies and gentlemen. One race through, early lead for the Lions, 2-1, as we're getting into our second race of the match in the mirror. Cassie, what can the fans at home expect on this mirror race?
Alrighty, so for today's mirror, we have clusters. So it's going to be clean thrusters from the floor. The two pairs completing the movement are going to be facing each other, male and female, on opposite sides of the quadrant, and they're going to move down each quadrant. Though it is very teamwork driven, because you do have to have a lot of communication passing the barbell from one person to another, because if the barbell does drop, the entire team has to run back to the start line and run back and complete the movement.
And you can pretty much guarantee if you drop that barbell, you're not going to win this race.
I've never seen it happen before.
So, most of you at home, if you squat like Cassie and I, you're used to using your own racks. On the mirror race, we got human racks.
Human racks.
Teams working together to move the barbell down the floor. 255 on the barbell for the men, 145 for the ladies. 10 front squats in each quadrant, totaling 40. And you got to cross the finish line first. Get yourself those 2 points. It's about 40 seconds on the clock. Going into this, it's hard to pick a team. You know, I do believe the Breakers are a lot stronger than they have been in the past, but the Lions have always been known for never being the strongest, but when it comes to this, they hold their own.
Yeah, they're very cohesive.
Yeah, absolutely. Great word to describe the Lions. Again, year after year, it seems like they have the same group of players coming back. It's the same result every single time. They're one of the top teams in the grid.
3-time grid champions.
Team, stand by. Race!
They are off on your screen. Lions in the black. Santa Ela opening it up for the Lions. Right across from him, you're going to have Katie Canning, I believe.
That is actually...
Sorry, Austin Lavallee.
Austin Lavallee.
Austin Lavallee.
Ace.
Veteran on your screen. She's holding that barbell for the ladies. Looks like she's going to be up next for the Breakers as Garcia finishes up.
Garcia.
It's going to be Veteran and Brousseau, who you saw in the fourth quadrant in the partner forward. We had a fault there.
That looks like Stephanie Rubio.
It's Rubio for the Lions, along with Eduardo Rodriguez.
Rubio making those look super easy. Lions advancing to the third quadrant.
Emiliana Guerra along with Vanover. Going with these front squats. Guerra, one of the youngest, if not the youngest, I believe Bethany Jackson might challenge her in this, youngest players on the grid floor.
Looks like the Lions are about 5 reps ahead of the Breakers.
And just as they closed it out on the partner forward, Marcos Medina and Chelsea Sellers closing out mirror with 10 front squats. They're going to take an early 2-point lead in this match. 30 seconds on the clock. Hands are up for Garcia and Det Hernandez on the Breakers. Final rep for Garcia.
Looks like there's some kind of fault happening over there.
With 14 seconds to spare, Breakers will cross the finish line. Going into the next race, a 4-2 lead right now, still early on. Up next, we're gonna have that ringer point race, which, again, I say it every time I'm on here, one of my favorite additions that we've had over the last few years on the grid floor is the ringer point race. It gives the teams an opportunity to grab the ball into their court and, you know, play devil's advocate on these other teams. Play a little bit of offense when it comes to it. And right now, the Lions are going to be the first ones up on the ringer point race. What's this race consist of?
So it looks like it's going to be a strength ringer point. It's going to be clusters. The men are going to hit that at 205 and the women at 135. Now, men and women can go against each other in this race, but they will have their respective weights. The thing that's really interesting about the ringer point is that it's a lot of strategy because you can't use the same player twice during the season for a ringer point.
Yeah, so it definitely comes into play where I think we've seen teams like the Breakers, where they used Coleman on the first ringer point race of the year. They picked the one that she won the previous year. So it seems like, you know, should I use my best player on the best ringer right up front and do it? And I think you have to. I mean, you just got to deal with it as you go out down the road, and we'll see who the Lions have chosen to go for them and the Breakers have chosen to go for them. It looks like it's 145 on each barbell, so it looks like we're going to have two females running this race.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one to see.
So as they get the grid floor set up, I'm excited to see who it's going to be. I don't recall. I believe you have Dent Hernandez and Vetterkin both have belts on, as well as Walsh.
Oh,
So
it looks like Chelsea Sellers has a belt on.
So it looks like it'll be Sellers for the Lions. And again, that's where the strategy comes into play. Maybe they've been holding out on this race, and I mean, who better? Who better in all 8 teams in the FGL to take on this race?
It's definitely an important one. I personally wouldn't say that the Lions need to throw their best player into this match per se.
I 100% agree. I do think that there's more than capable females on this team that could run this race and win. But so I'm not going to sleep on the Breakers as Sellers is going over and hugging, wishing good luck to Vetterkin. So it looks like it's going to be Sellers and it's going to be Vetterkin. I want to say that if Vetterkin needs to all-out sprint, and she needs to get to that barbell before Sellers does.
Yeah, she just needs to move a little bit faster. I would say that Vetterkin has a shorter way to go from the ground, so that might be an advantage, shorter limbs.
Great point in bringing that up. I think it needs to be, she needs to get to the bar first, and it needs to be a smooth squat clean into that first rep, and she's just gonna have to go.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely strength over efficiency, and it's gonna come down to if you make one little mistake, it can cost you.
Oh, most definitely. Like you're going to need to go all out on this race if you're Vetterkin. If you're Sellers, I mean, your confidence has to be through the roof going into this. I don't think she believes that she's going to lose this race. I don't think many people in the audience today, in this packed house here at Valor Fitness, believe that Sellers is going to lose this race. But who doesn't love an underdog story?
I love an underdog story. And you know what else I love? I love the sportsmanship of both of them, like trying to say good luck to each other before the ringer point, because you actually don't see a lot of that. It is a very, very competitive, very personal race.
Absolutely, but it's, again, something that differentiates grid from a lot of other. I mean, you do see this. You do see it in sports in general. You see the sportsmanship. You know, you can go to a UFC event. You can watch that, and yeah, they can be at their throats all months leading up to their fight. But at the end of it, there's that sense of respect and honor of going into there. I think it's the same thing we see here. Like, these players all know, like, the amount of training and work and constant improvement that goes into the grid as it's ever evolving. Things are always changing, and you just have to adjust. So I love seeing that. I think that's what differentiates the grid, though. The respect is always there. From the second they
100%.
walk onto the grid floor, it's there.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Alan.
So the clock is off. 2-point lead for the Lions going into this race. I don't think we're going to see the bonus flag from the Breakers here. It might be too early for the Lions to throw it.
If I were the Lions, I think I know where I'm throwing that bonus flag. Jack and Jew.
I mean, that might be what they're holding out for. I mean, it's a good call. If I'm throwing my bonus flag, I want to throw it on something like, I know I'm going to win. Jack and Jill might be that. But right now, ringer point race, 5 clusters. Vetterkin for the Breakers in the blue. Settlers for the Lions in the black. They are off.
Oh, it looks like they were very close on that run to the bar.
First cluster is done by Vetterkin. Second done by Vetterkin. A slight lead by Vetterkin right now, ladies and gentlemen. Final rep for Vida Vetterkin. Vida Vetterkin takes
She
it
runs
home.
Oh my goodness. We love an underdog story. Oh, it looks like Chelsea Sellers prematurely ran to the finish line. She has to finish up that last rep. Let's hope it didn't cost her that extra point.
Cassie, I'm in shock. I am at a loss for words. I guess that's why I'm behind the camera on the mic and not coaching, because I would have thrown my bonus flag and I would have lost that. Woo! What a race. I mean, it was like a slight lead and she got there, but Vetterkin was just smooth, and she was on a mission.
She did not give up that rhythm for anything. It was so impressive to watch.
Wow. Through 3 races, Vida Vetterkin has pulled the Breakers within 1 point. We got some more action. If that's any preview as to what we have to come, do not go anywhere.
I met Flash at one of the matches. He wanted to do a superhero shoot, which felt a little weird because I was like, I don't feel like a superhero.
Flash did a video for me also for Grid. He wanted me to be the Punisher as a character.
I did Power Girl. That just made me look so badass.
That's actually a really cool character because like the Punisher was military and had that like darkness essence to him. It just brought out my actual like personality, like wanting to be like shown as you don't want to mess with her type thing. I already have a hard time like expressing myself. He portrayed on like how I want to be looked at.
A lot of times girls that are a bigger athlete like me, we've been called manly, we've been bullied, we've been seen as this different type of female, and it allowed me to feel very feminine and show off that like you can still be beautiful but still be like a badass at your sport. And I really truly believe that God gave me a platform to show women that, you know, you can be this. I just try to be what I needed when I was younger.
That's me right there.
Strong girls can relate to each other. Once we met on Grid, we just instantly kind of connected. I was like, you're so strong. I think that was the first thing I said to her. I was like, you're so strong. And she was like, you're so strong. And we were just like, cool, we're both strong. All season, there was like this joke that me and Vita were gonna move to Florida.
I'm like, the only thing I really have back home is like my parents.
I don't really have anything in Massachusetts.
I love them, but I just knew I had to grow as a person.
And I DM'd her on Instagram and was like, literally, hey, do you want to move to Florida?
I was hoping I would get that message, actually. I was waiting for that message, so I knew, like, if I wanted to make a move, this would be it.
I kind of was like, you know what, maybe this is a reality.
That was my sign, and if it works out, if everything lines up, then it's supposed to happen. And it did, so.
We moved down here, we didn't have anyone or anything. We were like, now we're best friends. Like,
She's my emergency contact.
we don't really treat each other like roommates, we treat each other like family.
Welcoming you back into the action. The FGL live stream presented by Skyhill USA, the best grips in the game, which you're gonna see those grips in action on this very next race. Cassie, we are 3 races through. Looks like we are all tied up at 4 apiece due to the time differential of how long it took Sellers after Vetterkin crossed the finish line. So all tied up for the Echoes. What do these fans at home and these fans here at Valor Fitness HQ have to look forward to with these Echoes?
Alrighty, so for the Echo, it's 1 male and 1 female, 1 person working at a time, and the players may substitute for any movement. In the middle of a movement, the reps just have to be on the bar or on the element. So 1 player may be accumulating reps according to a designated number of element repetitions at a designated element station. Again, only 1 player at a time, and it is called Echo because it echoes. It runs twice.
I always love that. I love explaining it, but I'm gonna give you that one because again, it's crazy to see. I love seeing if strategy changes.
Yeah.
Because you only have 45 seconds between the 2 races to decide whether or not I want to change something or not. So, do you risk doing that? And again, these elements, you see them on your screen right now. You have a thruster for the men, a front squat for the ladies, 155 pounds, some weighted pull-ups with the medicine ball. The pull-up isn't the hard part, it's the medicine ball. It's awkward between the legs.
Definitely.
Some ring muscle-ups, and a 300-pound flip sled, right? So, do you put the same players out there doing that? I mean, 15 reps on a muscle-up for the breakers. You know, Aaron Parker's coming back from a lat injury. Hopefully he's good enough. Can he do all 15? Because if I had to bet on someone to do all 15, it's going to be Eric Cardona for the Fort Lauderdale Lions.
Oh, definitely.
So, and I've seen him do this race, do the 15 muscle-ups, and then come back on the second Echo and do it again. So, I think that's going to be the key in this race to you. What's the key element? Where is it going to either break down a team or push them into a race win?
It's definitely strategy, and it's strategy coming into the race before you even get here. Because it's, again, as you said before, it's only 45-second transition time. So you can't even tell your team a lot in 45 seconds because they're like trying to catch their breath. It's a very intense, very fast race. I would have to say I think it is going to go down to the flip sled. I think it's 15 flips.
Yes.
Wow. We'll see who's going to do those.
So just under a minute as our referees, which again, we cannot talk more highly than these referees. They come on here every single day. 1, they look good in their black polos.
Oh, yeah.
And 2, the standard that is upheld on this grid floor is just by far and away one of the better that you'll see in any type of sporting event around.
As a former referee, I have to say the amount of work and attention to details that goes into every single element before it's even brought to the attention of the players is immaculate.
Absolutely. Just about 15 seconds on the clock. You got 1 barbell in that first quadrant. It's thrusters for the men, front squats for the ladies, 155 pounds, 30 total reps.
Stand by. Race.
They are off. It's going to be Alex Brousseau opening up for the breakers with thrusters. Stephanie Rubio opening it up for the Lions with front squats. Marcos Medina in the ranks for the Lions. On your screen, Vida Vetterkin waiting to relieve Brousseau off of his thrusters. Off to Vetterkin, coming off that ringer point win.
Yep. These 2 ladies made that mirror of front squats look so easy, and they're making it look so easy again, doing it not even maybe 5 minutes later.
Waiting for that hand to go up from either referee as Medina hands it off Vetterkin's almost up. Hands are up on both sides. You're gonna have Vanover for the Lions, Alex Oliveras for the Breakers. Medicine ball between the legs, 20 weighted pull-ups. And again, it's not the pull-up that's difficult for these men and ladies. It's the awkwardness of focusing on holding that ball with between the legs. That ball drops. It's gonna open up a door for that other team to run through for a race win.
Definitely. It looks like even though Oliveras made it to the bar first, it was a shorter range of motion for Vanover, so Pauleas was able to start her muscle-ups first. Eric Cardona waiting right under her.
And again, Pauleas broke onto the scene. Not only the grid scene, not only the CrossFit scene, the national scene with her butterfly muscle-ups that you see on your screen right now.
Switch over for Cardona.
Got Asquedo on the rings for the Breakers. Hand is up for the Lions. Final 2 reps. Chelsea Sellers looking for some redemption as she's first to that 300-pound flip sled. She'll get one flip in as Mario Santaella comes onto the floor.
Ooh, it looks like he almost got his toe there.
And it's gonna be the strategy here where, again, it's a heavy flip sled. So Santaella did about 3 reps. Sellers does 1. Here comes Rodriguez to do maybe 3 more. Coleman on the floor. Here comes Anthony Garcia.
Yeah, it looks like Carasqueron got a little bit stuck on those muscle-ups. So the Breakers definitely need to make up a lot of time. Though it doesn't look like the Lions are slowing down any second.
At all. Rodriguez has come in here, and he is wreaking havoc on this flip sled. 4 reps remaining. It looks like it's going to be Santaella. And miscommunication. Sellers, I think they wanted Sellers to do 1 more rep. Can the Breakers come through here? Final 2 reps for the Lions.
Hand up for the Breakers. 5 left for the Breakers.
Santaella finishes it up. And the Lions will take the Echo lead. 3 more reps for the Breakers. 30 seconds on the clock. Final rep. Jesse Coleman flips it through. Breakers will cross the finish line. They're going to secure that 1 point. It's going to be a 45 seconds recovery period. Reset the floor. This could be a 2-point swing here for the Lions. They got a 1-point lead right now. Going into this next race, something's got to change, and it's got to be on the muscle-ups. There's got to be a
it
little
looks
more
like the Breakers
consistency.
fell apart in those muscle-ups, which is not an element that you think that you would fall apart in. Usually when you put somebody on the muscle-ups is because they can uphold that standard and do them foolproof. You know, it comes down to a strategy. You have to be able to do it in that moment.
You have to be able to do it, and in the meanwhile, you're thinking about having to be able to do it just as fast as Pauleas and Eric Cardona does them.
It's a tough standard.
I think anything body weight that comes up, as you see, we'll see later, Jack and Jill, Lions have the upper hand on this. So again, it's important that the Breakers come out to a somewhat large lead. Whatever large is, that's, you can make that opinion on at home. I think they need to be first on the weighted pull-ups again, and they're going to need about 5 weighted pull-ups ahead of the Lions and get to the muscle-ups first if they want a chance to get some points back and a race win.
Definitely have to agree with you there, Alan.
So interesting strategy where Breakers did not change up their start. They haven't yet. They started with Brosseau, off to Vetterkin, and Oliveras is set for weighted pull-ups on the ring. They started with Guerra, finishing with Medina, and now you have Katie Canning on the bar. So it was Vanover to start. Now it's Canning for the Lions. And again, a 1-rep lead for the Breakers. It's a lead. Oliveras on the weighted pull-ups, Canning right behind her in the black.
If you look at both of them do it, it looks like Canning has a much shorter range of motion for this movement, which is definitely an advantage in this element.
Absolutely, and again, it looks like, again, they weren't first to start, but they're first to the muscle-ups. And, I mean, if I was a betting man, Cassie, I would put my money right now on the Lions to take this race once again. It's just tough to beat these two on the rings.
100%, I'd say that's a safe bet. Look at Cardona swinging the whole entire rig to get up there.
Again, he did his 11 reps. Pauleas has finished it off, and it's going to be Santaella making his way over to quadrant number 4. to start off with the 15 flip sleds. So Lions are off to the fourth quadrant. On the rings, you're gonna have Jonathan Restrepo trying to finish up those muscle-ups. 5 reps to go as Jessie Coleman makes her way to quad number 4.
Yep, that's where they changed their strategy. They switched out Cascaredes for Restrepo. Looks like Chelsea Sellers getting the memo and doing the flip sleds while her partners are switching out.
So a little bit extra energy on Sellers on this one. Again, it would be a 2-point swing and a 2-point lead at minimum if the Lions win this race. 4 reps to go. What's important for the breakers right now is to not have any errors, no faults, and just get that 1 point.
Yep, it looks like 2 reps left for the Lions. Still not a hand up for the breakers.
Eduardo Rodriguez, again, I think he's got to be one of my favorite newcomers onto the grid floor. It has got to be Rodriguez. At least from what I saw in Miami, he's got to be. You have Medina, you have Santella, you have Cardona, and now you've added Rodriguez.
100%.
Wrecking ball for these Lions.
Wreck-It Rodriguez.
I like that. We're going to keep that. As we got 3 reps remaining for Anthony Garcia, Jessie Coleman, and the breakers. Just about 15 seconds on the clock. Breakers will get their 1 point. After 5 races, it's going to be Lions 8. It's going to be breakers 6. Ladies and gentlemen, do not go anywhere. We got a lot of match left when we get back.
Woo.
Grid Wars! Yeah, baby!
Excited. This is going to be fun. I like stuff like this. Being able to coach and get people into it and have them have the first grid experience, it's going to be a good time.
Nervous, excited, never done this.
Really nervous, but it's gonna be fun. Wish me luck.
Kill it.
1, 2, 3, Junior!
That was the spark we needed. It's electric in the air, baby.
Now we can do the mini grid.
Was amazing. The race was so funny.
All comes down to this, Mike.
Let's go. I think we're going to be all right. And once we win this one, we win the whole thing.
No, back away.
That's ship over here!
Fuck you! Pretty much gonna do the whole thing, and then I'm gonna run across and win.
Welcome back to the action, ladies and gentlemen. Valor Fitness headquarters here, just outside beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. Alan Duarte, joined by my partner in crime this morning, Cassie. Just Cassie.
Just Cassie.
How you feeling today? How have you been liking this match so far, 5 races through?
I am loving this match. Everything from the underdog Vita Vetican beating Chelsea Sellers in that ringer point race. I think I'll never get that vision out of my mind. It'll haunt my dreams forever.
I think that's got to be my top moment so far. We're still early on in the day. We've got 3 more matches later on today from Valor Fitness out here in St. Pete. So if you're in the area, come on through. They've got their walk-in gym area where you can get 30% off today on Valor Fitness equipment. They've been with us since 2018. They're family. This is home.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're in the area, come on by, join us, buy some equipment, and watch some amazing athletes take on the grid. Up next, we say amazing, but I must add strong. You're going to get to see the strength that there is on the grid floor right here, right now, on the ladder. What can we expect on this strength ladder?
So it's called the ladder because it looks like a ladder. So it's a series of barbells going from least heaviest in the first quadrant to the heaviest in the 4th quadrant. So there's a maximum of 10 points per player. So in the first quadrant, that will be worth 1 point. In the second quadrant, that will be worth 2 points. In the third, 3. In the fourth, 4. So the most you can get is 10 points, and that's what everybody here is trying to get. But there is a time cap, so you really have to send your strongest players who you know can get and accumulate the most points in the least amount of time. There is a little bit of strategy that goes into this.
Absolutely, and I think it's going to be one thing to make note of. The Breakers have not lost a ladder race on the year. All 3 matches they've been in, they've won every single ladder, and the confidence is at the roof right now. I'll explain that in a second. But what weights are we going to see?
So it looks like in quadrant 1, we have 250 for the men and 165 for the women. That will be 1 point. Men, 275, women 180 in the second quadrant. That will be worth 2 points. 300 for the men on quadrant 3 and 195 for the women. That would be worth 3 points, and 325 for the men. It's at the heaviest, and 210 for the women, and those will be worth 4 points.
So a 325-pound clean for the men, 210 for the ladies, and I think we're going to see a few of those. And I mentioned the confidence that the Breakers have. They have not lost a ladder on the year, and I don't think Matt Hornaday, head coach of the Breakers, believes they're going to lose this one because he's thrown the bonus flag. So this race is worth 3 points to the victor. The victor will be the team with the most points at the end of this race. And again, you clear the floor, all 4 quadrants. That's 10 points to your team. Teams are ready. They are off. It's going to be Rodriguez for the Lions in black. It's going to be Dent Hernandez for the Breakers in blue through quadrant number 1 for both.
Looking really easy for Rodriguez with his new nickname, Wreck-It Rodriguez.
Wreck-It Rodriguez through 3, power cleaning.
Yeah, he's been looking forward to this all day. You can see it in his face.
325, and Wanda Rodriguez, smooth power clean, 210 for Dent Hernandez.
And Dent Hernandez ate that for breakfast.
Woo. Dent Hernandez, my pick for Rookie of the Year. And if it's not Dent Hernandez, it's got to be Alex Purcell, who's on your screen right now.
Oh, I have to agree with you there. We have Emiliana Guerra for the Lions.
One thing to keep track of is going to be how many clears they get on the ladders. Guerra stands it up!
That was a really tough one, but it looks like they're both at 20 points right now.
Yes, Jesse Coleman on the floor for the Breakers, Marcos Medina on the floor for the Lions. Coleman on your screen.
It looks like their strategy is to send their players through all of the bars. Usually you'll see some teams like to start off with the 3rd or 4th bar.
Yes, and you'll see that. I feel like you'll see that. We're going to see that later on in this race because time is of the essence and they got to get as much points as they can. But I think the Lions know that if they're going to beat the Breakers, you obviously need as much points as you get, and that's going to come from clearing as many ladders as you can.
Definitely. It happened off screen, but Marcus Medina did did fall out on that last rep in the fourth quadrant.
Okay.
I was not expecting that.
So he faulted out. Oliveras just faulted out on quad number 3. Lavallee with the clean. She'll clear the ladder for the Lions. Vida Vetterkin, the story of today's match thus far, through 3 quadrants. Santella on the floor for the Lions. Vida Vetterkin can't quite get under 210. Santella power clean at 300 on the 325.
Wow, it looks like the Breakers' strongest players have faulted out on this ladder today. Could this be the first ladder that they lose this season?
They have 2 faults so far. Anthony Garcia through 3 quadrants. Here comes Chelsea Sellers.
Chelsea Sellers just warming up here on the clean ladder.
Yeah, I think Sellers wants it to keep going another 5 quadrants. She could probably clear another 5 quadrants.
I saw her power clean 260 on an Instagram post the other day. It was absolutely ridiculous.
It's out of this world. Vilma Rosario on the floor for the Breakers through 3 quadrants. Here comes Vanover for the Lions. 1 minute on the clock. Again, an important race right now for these teams. The Breakers can tie it all up with a race win. However, it'll be a 3-point swing for the Lions. Something's going on the Lions side, and I can't quite see. Canning on the floor for the Lions in the black.
Alrighty, now it comes down to strategy. So we'll see if maybe they start sending people to the last few bars to try to get that point differential up.
You see Canning on bodyweight elements, but Canning just cleaned 210.
Restrepo skipping the last bar, went straight off the grid.
Kaylee Walsh on the floor for the Breakers. Eric Cardona. Again, you see him on the rings. You see him on the pull-up bars. You see him cleaning 300 pounds.
What an absolute powerhouse.
10 seconds on the clock.
Paulea is on the ladder. You don't see that often.
On the Breakers.
And she finishes that last rep just under the time cap.
It's gonna be close, and I just don't know.
Man, I really tried to keep count, and I just could not. It was just so fast-paced. This is probably my favorite to watch.
I saw two players on the side of the Breakers whom I expected to clear the ladder.
100%.
One of them faulted out in quad 3. So we're gonna tally up the points. We're gonna come back. We're gonna have a score update for you, and we're gonna have some more grid action. Don't go anywhere.
We are Relax and Get Results. Josh and Daniel here. We've been with the Grid League since about 5 years now, and we love being part of the team, taking care of the team. Their well-being means a lot to us, so we're always in the sideline, making sure they're okay. You know, we specialize in everything that has to do with sports, massage, sports recovery, stretching. So what we do is basically help them maximize their potential and help them prevent injury as well.
The recovery aspect, we speed up the recovery time, help athletes regain range of motion that they've lost due to injury or overuse, overtraining. Pretty much just keeping people as healthy as possible is what our goal is.
Yeah, especially with Greek, you know, it's very intense and it's very fast. So when we improve their mobility, their flexibility, they're obviously going to perform at a higher level. So with them, that's mainly our main concern, is to get them flexible so they're faster at everything they do.
Peachy athletic shorts, guys. Just saying. Looking peachy.
And the peaches are great. They're really stretchy. They're soft.
I like the fit. I like the fabric. It makes me just feel more comfortable while I'm working out. I don't have to worry about things coming out.
Love training in these shorts. Love competing in the shorts. They stay put. Got a really nice thick waistband.
They definitely pass the squat test and the booty test. They're really comfortable. Like I could wear them out and I could wear them on the floor.
But still feel covered, but able to do all the movements.
Go get yourself some.
I'm a marketing specialist and also a fitness enthusiast. So I kind of do a little bit of everything, a little bit of gymnastics, a little bit of lifting, but I'm also a person who gets really bored with eating the same things. I like that Rebuild has made it a lot easier for me to meal prep because it takes out a bunch of meals that I don't need to now prep. When I'm at work, I can just heat them up really quickly, or if I'm working from home, I can heat them up really quickly. And it just makes the time when I do get home after work or after the gym a lot simpler because I have those meals ready to go. I I track most of my macros. You can scan them super easily, put them in MyFitnessPal. It's easy for me then to plan the rest of my meals with the rest of the macros that I have left for the day because it tallies it up super simple for me. Super clean food while also tasting really good. I feel like I'm getting a good healthy amount of protein, carbs, and fat per meal. I like the lifestyle line. It allows me to have a little bit more flavor, a little bit more carbs. I feel good going into training. I'm ready to go. It makes my life super simple and I really like them.
Welcome back to the action out here in St. Pete. Live stream presented by Skyhill USA. We are on the grid floor, and every time we're out here, it is nothing short of just plain old drama. It's just every single race, we expect for it to go one way, and it goes the exact opposite. We had it with the ringer point with Vetterkin and Sellers, and we might have it now with the ladder. They're still tallying up the points. We're going to have that score for you as soon as we can, but we're not wasting time. We've got our next ringer point race. The Lions picked the first one. Breakers picked this one. What do we got coming up?
All right, so this ringer point is utility multi-element race. So it looks like it's going to be med ball handstand walks. So 6 pounds for the ladies, 10 pounds for the males. This is not the race graphic that we were looking for. Please pardon me. But it all comes down to who can walk the fastest on their hands holding a med ball between their legs.
Yeah, so we saw the medicine ball on the pull-ups, which makes it awkward, and we see it now, right? Like, they're probably gonna walk faster on their hands with the medicine ball than I do on my own feet, but you got Bethany Jackson, one of the youngest grid players on the floor.
Bethany Jackson.
Katie Canning for the Lions in the black. 6 pound medicine ball between the legs. They're gonna flip over. They're gonna walk on their hands as fast as they can.
Ooh, both of them looking real comfortable on their hands.
This was chosen by the Breakers, and they send out the rookie in Bethany Jackson. Ooh. But Katie Canning gets to quad 4 first, and it looks like Katie Canning is gonna cross the finish line first.
Oh my goodness.
So it seems like they swapped. The Lions chose the clusters, the Breakers win. The Breakers choose the handstand walk, and the Lions win.
I love when that happens.
So, a race win for the Lions, and we're adding up the scores on the ladder still, so we don't quite know where we're standing. A Breakers win on the ladder would have made it a tied race altogether, and that right now would have given the Lions a 1-point lead. The Lions win the ladder. That gives them I believe a 4-point lead. And now with that, a 5-point lead with 3 races remaining.
Whew.
So a lot is lying, a lot is standing on that ladder win. We're still tallying up the score, but Katie Canning right there.
Katie Canning.
You've had Bethany Jackson resting all match long. She hasn't been in the race, any race yet. Katie Canning has.
So impressive. Though Bethany Jackson was like really fat. Like they were both very fast. That's not to take away from Bethany Jackson's ability because she was absolutely crushing it.
Absolutely. And we just had our ladder score announced, 70-65. The Fort Lauderdale Lions took the ladder, and it looked like it during the race. I felt that they were going to win it after seeing what I saw from the Breakers, and now that is they got 3 points on that one, plus another point here, and I want to say it's going to be a 5-point lead. We're going to wait for them to update the scores for us, because it was a 2-point lead before going into the ladder, and now the Breakers have dug themselves a hole. We haven't talked too much about it, but Breakers came in today with a 1-2 record, 2-point differential in their favor when you compare them to the Palms.
Yeah.
And they need to win this race. They don't. I mean, they need to win this match. If they don't, they're going to have to hope for a Palms loss and that they lose by 5 or more points than what they had here. It's a lot to get into.
It's a lot of math.
Yeah. That we're not going to do right now. I need my calculator. But, again, they've dug themselves a hole right now that I don't know if it's too deep to come out of, because up next we have Jack and Jill. And you brought it up in the beginning. This was your pick. If you're the Lions, if you're dressing as head coach today, this was your pick for the bonus flag. We're going to see if they throw it. We're going to see what
100%.
happens in Jack and Jill when we get back.
Yep.
After that short break, we are back to the action, and it's time for Jack and Jill. This was the race I think you've been looking forward to, and again, this match is called Ascend, and we're going to see these teams ascend up and down these ropes, and we're going to see if the breakers can ascend back into some sort of fight where they can maybe bring out a win. And if not, they're trying to make this point differential as little as possible.
Nope.
What do we have coming up? What should we expect in this Jack and Jill?
Alrighty, so for Jack and Jill, we have 3 stations of body weight elements. The players may be substituted by gender at any time, so a female can switch out for a female, a male can switch out for a male, thus the name Jack and Jill. So the elements are going to increase in difficulty and decrease in reps as you move down the quadrants. Though these elements are not for the faint of heart. We have 15 feet rope climb, then we have 10 feet legless rope climb, and then 3 L-sit rope climbs.
Which I think that's going to be, that's usually, we've seen this race over the year, and I think that's usually where the hiccup comes. It's the L-sit. It's at some point your leg makes contact with that rope and you get the fall, and that's where it comes down from. But again, it's just when it comes to the body weight specialist and those races, the Lions just over the years have shown that they are just stronger than others.
100%, though I don't think that we've seen a bonus flag in play.
We have not seen it. I don't think the Lions believe it's necessary. As we're going into this race, Eric Cardona starts up on the rope climbs for the Lions. You have Restrepo on the floor for the Breakers.
It looks like Laura and Jessie Coleman for the female. The Jill aspect, if you will.
Laura Sanchez, I'm surprised to see her right now. We haven't seen her all race. I don't know if she's dealing with an injury. I don't know if she's coming back from a CrossFit Games appearance with the teammate you just saw on the floor. Mario Santaella went to the CrossFit Games with her. But it's nice to see her on the floor, hitting up these rope climbs as Coleman is on the rope for the Breakers.
Austin Lavallee waiting in the wakes.
Brett Pybas for the Lions.
I did expect to see a lot more Cardona Pauleas for the Lions.
I think they're holding them out. You still got legless and the L-sit, so I think that's where we're going to see more of them. I think they have a unique strategy where they've gone through 5 or 6 players already on these sets of 15 rope climbs, and it's been Coleman, it's been David Johnson, and it was Restrepo. Now you're going to see Aaron Parker coming back from that lat injury. We'll see if that still is affecting him on these rope climbs. As Lavallee and the Lions have 4 reps remaining. Roger Rodriguez, you see him lifting heavy weights, you're going to see him climbing some ropes. Whew. Sanchez back on the ropes. She's choosing to go legless on this. I don't know if she feels faster with it.
Well, I think they've made it to the 10 legless rope climbs at this point. Oh, no, they're not at the legless rope climb. She just decided to do that.
I think I don't know if she just wants to be a show-off today. She hasn't been on the floor yet, so she's like, you know what? This is my chance to shine.
Why not? Though when I think of Laura Sanchez on the ropes, I think of her doing the L-sit rope climb. She's very good at those, actually.
But when you have Paula Leia's waiting in the ranks, I mean, so you really need to use Sanchez on the L-sit.
100%.
It was Cardona, now it's Canning. And I just think the Lions right now are in a comfortable state where they have a 5-point lead, and they have had to have the most confidence going into this.
It looks like they're just trying not to, like, tire out their players too fast. They're transitioning in and out between male and female, and though they are doing it very seamlessly.
The Lions have not missed a beat with Paul Moran at the helm today. Paul Moran calling out for 2 reps from Juan Rodriguez. And he's going to give him those 2 reps as Emiliana Guerra now on the rope for the Lions. Johnson finishing up for the Breakers. Here comes Det Hernandez. Moran wants 1 from Santaella because they've got 1 left.
All right, now they're moving on to the L-sit rope climbs. Katie Canning.
Neither of which we thought we'd see on the L-sit, but it's going to be Canning. She cleaned 210 pounds earlier, and she's rocking up that rope 15 feet with an L-sit, taps it with the feet, and she's got it.
I love how she looks down to the ref to make sure that's okay before she descends.
As
100%.
she holds her foot at the top of the ring.
That was baller, have to say it.
Grip strength, upper body strength, core strength, you're all working it here.
There we go, there's Pauleas.
Woo. She doesn't even wait to lift the legs up. She's gonna lift them up from the start. She touches it up.
Born that way, upside down. And there's Cardona and Leas strolling into the finish line. They call themselves Jack and Jill. Every time that they practice, they have a Lions practice, they post a picture together, and it's like, oh yeah, we're Jack and Jill. I love that for them.
I mean, just complete and utter dominance on Jack and Jill. 10 seconds remaining, and it looks like this is going to put this match out of reach for the Breakers. As they do not finish underneath the time cap, they will not get a point, and instead of a 6-point lead, it's going to be a 7-point lead going into the final 3 races of the match. And it's just been, you know, I'll be honest. After seeing Vetterkin win the Ringer Point race against Sellers, I thought, hey, the Breakers, they've got something. And I don't want to knock them because they do have something.
Yeah,
they're
100%.
coming from 3 years in a row of not winning a single match. They've already won this year, and they look stronger. Props to Matt Hornaday. I want to see them finish strong, and they're going to get that chance when we come back from this next break.
Big goal of mine is to share my story, to inspire others. Once I got back to the States, during hard chemotherapy rounds, I was back in remission, but now this time I needed to have a bone marrow transplant. After another round of chemotherapy, I then endured a fungal infection that was going to my brain. Very close call. Had 5 surgeries in 6 days. But I battled through, fought through, and survived. Made it to my bone marrow transplant. Took about 11 months for my blood to start reproducing again. You know, through that time, I still continued to train. I continued striving to just be the best I can be and do the best that my body could do. So I preach health and fitness because it saved my life, not once but twice. I will continue to tell my story on why I eat the way I eat. Every day, you know, I'm eating clean. Carnivore snacks, you know, it's just legit. Salt and your protein, and that's it. They all taste great. I look forward to snacking on them every day. Being a busy dad, I get to snack and not forget to eat while I'm taking care of my 14-month-old son. So carnivore snacks is great. I definitely highly recommend it.
to the action. 15 for the Lions, 8 for the Breakers. It's a 7-point lead right now. And the Breakers want any sign of hope. They're going to have to take the female triad. They're going to have to take the male triad. And they're going to have to take the sprint relay and hope that maybe the Lions don't finish one of those races. Again, the Lions have to have set themselves up pretty going into this. 1 minute on the clock. Female triad is next. What can we expect on the triad?
All right, so triad, this first one is the female triad. So it's 3 females working at a time. They can switch in and out at any point, and they will be working 5 elements, 3 of each working at the same time. So the reps are on the actual element themselves, not necessarily on the players.
Absolutely, and you see the 3 females on the floor. Think of it as 3 separate stations doing the work. What can we expect at the stations?
It looks like we have barbell clusters at 75 pounds, 3 freestanding handstand push-ups, burpees over the box at 24 inches, 16 reps, dumbbell shoulder to overhead at 50 pounds, 9 reps of that, and a 60-foot handstand walk.
60-foot handstand walk by all 3 females on the floor. They can switch the females out at any time. But these ladies are lined up. These ladies are ready. Det Hernandez, Coleman, and Vetterkin for the Breakers. You're going to have Guerra trying to see who is out there with her. Looks like Lavalli. That 3rd female on the far left side is going to be Claudia Reque. Sanchez on the floor for Guerra. Looks like Leyes is going to come to the floor for Reque.
Yeah, I think that was the first time that we saw her today in this match.
Yes, first time we've seen Claudia Reque. We saw Sanchez for the first time in Jack and Jill. We see her now. It looks like she's in for the home stretch.
And we always see Austin Lavalli. Amazing utility player.
We say utility, and you might be wondering, well, why is she classified as that? Well, because she can move quick on the bodyweight stuff. She can move quick on the lightweight elements, and then she can clean 210 pounds.
Yup.
So that's the prime definition of utility.
Definitely a utility tool.
As the Breakers are done on their freestand, they're not. They have one more station to go. Same for the Lions. The Lions encountered that issue. They are past it, and they are off onto their burpee box jump overs.
Yeah, looks like a slight miscommunication could have cost them quite a few reps.
You have Reque, Lavalli, and Leyes on the floor for the Lions in the black on the left side of your screen. Right side of your screen, it looks like you're going to have Vilma Rosario, Vida Vetterkin, and Det Hernandez for the Breakers. Hands are up for all 3 referees on the Lions side. Leyes is done. She's going to switch off for another female. Final rep for Lavalli, final rep for Reque.
Looks like she switched out for Emiliana Guerra. Lavalli is also going to switch out. They're making those way to the dumbbells.
Reque will stay on the floor. I didn't see if Reque did the freestanding handstand push-ups.
I think she did.
But she did the clusters. She did the freestanding handstand push-ups. She did the burpees in the box. And now she's doing the shoulder to overhead with the dumbbells.
Breakers making their way to the dumbbells. Looks like they got 2 reps left on those box jump overs.
And Reque is going to stay on the floor, and she's going to do the 60-foot handstand walk.
Miscommunication from the Breakers and how many reps were left on that box. It's going to cost them some time.
So Guerra first to that start line for the Lions. They're going to have to sprint back and cross that finish line.
Though they're not going to have to sprint.
Very true. As the Breakers flip over onto their walk.
Brisk jog to the finish line for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. They're going to unofficially take this race.
Another 2-point win for the Lions. Strong showing by all these ladies.
Definitely.
As Coleman is finished, she's going to go back and finish it for Det Hernandez. And you have Kaylee Walsh still on the floor. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds on the clock remaining.
That's plenty of time for these ladies to finish up their handstands. So it looks like they should be taking that 1 point.
Walsh is over. Coleman's over. They're going to cross that finish line. They're going to get their 1 point. But what was a 7-point lead is now turned into an 8-point lead. And again, it might seem like we are, you might think, showing too much love to the Lions on the Lions side, but it's just a prime example what cohesiveness and years of working together as a team, years of success, that's what you're seeing with the Lions, whereas on the Breakers side, you're starting to see the cohesiveness come together. You have players from out of state that they flew in, they had a training camp together, they spent a whole week together. You see the cohesiveness, you see the sunrise beginning on the Breakers side, but the sun has risen and it's shining on the Lions side, and we're going to see them shine as the males take on the triad and the sprint relay when we get back.
Hey, I'm Chelsea Sellers. I play for the Fort Lauderdale Lions. I'm one of the strength specialists here. I grew up and was born in Hornell, New York, just a small town in upstate New York. But I moved out to Ohio, and that's where I currently stay. I didn't play any sports in college because I went to a community college, but I did play rugby for a league team. Wasn't really necessarily a mentor, more a family member. It really kind of convinced me to look at my life a little bit deeper, and I joined when I was 17. I've been serving in the Army for over 15 and a half years. I served with the Ohio Army National Guard as a military police officer. Learning about leadership and dedication and the pursuit of serving and following others has been one of the biggest takeaways from my military service. Luckily, the Grid League has all the things that make me more successful. We shoot, move, and communicate, and that speed, violence of actions are definitely things that we use in the Grid League a lot. So being a strength specialist, but still being able to move quickly across the zone, across the grid, across the X, that's what makes the Grid League and my fitness career in the military so unique. Join the service, right? The things that you get there, the mentorship, the leadership, you can't get it in college, just college alone. The experience that I get, people are looking for someone that is experienced, but they're also, have time in training. You can get that with the military. Being a service member has been the greatest honor that I've ever had. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wasn't even old enough to sign my own contract at 17, but being so young and still having 15 and a half years in the service and being able to travel the world and serve my brothers and sisters to the left and right of me has been the biggest thing in my life. And I would just like to remind everybody that veteran suicide is still a thing. So please remember that 22 veterans a day kill themselves. So anytime that you get a chance to donate money or donate time or anything like that to veteran suicide, please do. My mom, right? Like everybody needs to talk to their mom. So hey mom, and my daughter Evelyn.
I was actually starting to make videos towards the end of high school to try to go to college for gymnastics, and I ended up having shoulder surgery. I tore my labrum, and that was it for gymnastics. A friend got me into CrossFit, and then when I heard about Grid, the original one, I did everything I could to try to be part of the league. I use a lot of grips, and these are just my favorite pair that I've ever touched. With the way these are just sewn on and with that padding, it's a whole new dimension in terms of grips for CrossFit. And when you lock onto that bar like you're supposed to with these things, they just lock you in. These are probably the only grips I'll use.
And we are back to the action. 9 races through this Ascend match as the Lions have ascended to the top of this match. And it looks like they're going to ascend to the top of the Southern Conference standings with another race win. Another year in the books for the Lions, and they're going to take the conference regular season title going into the playoffs on top. But the Breakers are going to try and finish up strong. They got 2 more races to try and win. This next one is going to be the male triad. Same elements as before. The rates might change a little bit.
A little bit.
The difficulty might change a little bit. What's changing? What do we have to see?
Alrighty, so it looks like the men's weight for the barbell cluster is going to be 115 pounds. 3 freestanding handstand push-ups, 16 burpees over the box, but it's going to be 30 inches. And the dumbbell weight for the shoulders to overhead is going to change to 70 pounds. Still a 60-foot handstand walk.
Yeah, and I think it's just, I don't know what to think, to be honest with you anymore, Cassie. Because right now, the Lions are just on a roll, but I really want to see the Breakers finish off this match with something to play for, trying to make this point differential as minimal as possible, because again, like, their season is not over. The Palms still have to win. Should the Palms lose, and the Breakers have a 5-point up on the Palms, so they're not dead, and I need them. I want them. The fans at home want them to finish up strong, stay alive in this conference.
They have to fight. It has to be a dogfight for these last 2 races. I'm excited to see it.
Carrasquero, Restrepo, and it looks like it's going to be number 10 on the side of the Breakers. Looks like it's going to be Brousseau. Starting off with the clusters on the side of the Lions. You're going to have Eduardo Rodriguez, Mario Santaella, and Eric Cardona opening up on the cluster side. Looks like Brent Pybas will be next as he's waiting to relieve Cardona. Carrasquero is through. Parker and Oliveras on the floor for the Breakers as Brousseau stays on the floor.
It's good to see Parker back on the grid. He was absent for the last match due to a lat injury. That could have had a lot to do with such a loss for the Breakers.
So hands are up all across on both sides. Pybas is done. Rodriguez, Cardona, and Pybas onto the freestanding handstand push-ups. Oliveras, Restrepo, and Carrasquero for the Breakers. Cardona and Rodriguez are done. Pybas had a fault. He's got one more to go. Opening the door. Breakers first onto the action on the boxes.
Oh, snap. This is where it all could change for the Breakers.
And Cardona ran over to help Pybas. Pybas got the rep done on the element on the station. They are done. Seems like the tides have turned a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like the Breakers have a slight lead on the Lions. I love to see it.
Again, it's Eric Cardona moving faster than anyone else on the floor, but I don't think the other two men are moving quick enough to make up ground as a team. Rodriguez with a slight fall. He recovers. He'll go back, reset, and get that rep done.
Yeah, way to get right back into that rhythm after that fall. It looked like it hurt a little bit.
Hand is up for Rodriguez. There's one more station to be done in the boxes for the Breakers as Parker, Carrasquero are onto the dumbbells. Restrepo with one more rep to go. You got a rep here on one station for the Lions. 2 to go here, 1 to go for Santaella. Breakers are off. The Breakers have slowed down a bit as Parker, Carrasquero have been on the floor for the majority of this race. Oliveras back on there. You have Rodriguez, Santaella, and Pybas. Pybas been on the floor a lot. Santaella and Rodriguez are fresh as Rodriguez is done. Santaella is done. And now we've got handstand walks. So one male on the floor for the Lions starting the handstand walks. All 3 on the floor for the Breakers. But you got Cardona. You've got Rodriguez.
Ooh, it looks like even though the Breakers started first, the Lions.
It's going to come down to the sprint at the end. Cardona's done. Santaella is done. Rodriguez is done.
They're over the
Coming
line.
from behind, the Fort Lauderdale Lions will take the male triad.
What a comeback. The Lions can't believe it themselves.
And again, when it seemed like the tides were turning in this race and in the match, when Vitor Vederkin won the 3rd race of the match, the Lions have won 7 straight races, and they will take a 9-point lead going into the final race of the day in the sprint relay.
Wow, what a match. That was so exciting to watch.
I mean, the Breakers are fighting. You can tell they're fighting, and they're doing everything they can.
They want it.
It's just not enough when you're facing reigning champions in the Lions.
Definitely.
So again, it's just, I don't know if anyone in the South can stop the Lions. The North is a different story. We're going to see them later on in today. But sprint relays next. And again, just hoping to see the fight that we've seen all day from the Breakers, and maybe they can squeeze out a race win to close out this match.
Definitely.
We'll have that final race when we come back, ladies and gentlemen.
Chicken one. I did not expect this.
Well, here's your deal. With those two, I'll make
Unlike American football or baseball, where positions are very clearly defined with rules specific to them, grid league positions are more general. Think of it as a spectrum with a 4-foot gymnast on one end and a 400-pound strongman on the other, with every possible size, shape, and skill set focus filling in the middle. Roles on the grid have a lot of crossover from position to position, and there are many possible combinations that will yield a great team. Grid league has 3 primary player positions or roles on the team. Utility players generally have a wide range of abilities and end up with a diverse set of assignments on the grid. Utility players, although often assigned more total work than specialists, will still focus on their best movements as their means to contribute to the team. The strength specialist role often involves heavier assignments and, depending on the player's background, may be even more focused to individual types of strength movement, such as Olympic weightlifting or strongmen. Most of the super high-skill movements like backward roll to support in deficit, freestanding handstand push-ups are performed by bodyweight specialists. That said, there are several bodyweight specialists that mainly focus on more basic movements, but for big sets and fast cycle rates. Many are gymnasts as well, but even some of the best do not have gymnastics backgrounds, such as former MVP Paul Lays. Learn more about the sport of grid league at fgl.com/learn.
My name is Lacey Boyd. I am a utility player for the Orlando Aces. I tore my ACL during one of the grid races called the Mirror. It was 10 hang power clean, but on the 8th or 9th rep, I felt like a pop in my knee, and I was like, well, that's not good. But I just kept going and didn't really think anything of it because I've never been injured before.
The video that she showed seemed like a very minor injury. However, she tore her ACL. She tore her meniscus. She had a displaced bucket handle tear, which is a serious issue. As a former CrossFitter and a former athlete and a sports-trained orthopedic surgeon, that's an important part of what I do as a sports medicine physician. Is I look at the athlete's specific sport, the movements that are involved, and we tailor the rehab to get people back to their particular sport.
If you get injured, take the time your body needs to recover. Be very patient with yourself, both physically and emotionally. It's really like, you kind of feel like you're alone when it happens initially, because like none of your other friends or family are feeling the way that you do. You feel like not helpless, but in a sense you feel like you lost your independence at the time. But just listen to yourself, listen to your doctor, and it's just a minor setback to fling you forward. It's all gonna end up better than what you expected.
Welcoming you back to the action here, just outside of St. Pete, Florida, at the Valor Fitness headquarters. As we have our Grid League live stream brought to you by Skyhill USA. Alan Duarte joined by Cassie. We are 10 races through on the day. A lot more races to go, but we got one race left in this very match between the Palm Beach Breakers and the Fort Lauderdale Lions. 9-point lead for the Lions. And biggest thing, we talked about it all day, is going to be that point differential. They went from having +2 points in differential standings to now it's going to be about, depending on what this race ends, it could be upwards of -10.
Yep.
So a lot to unravel and go throughout the day. But we're going to get into the sprint relay. Unravel it for us, Cassie. What can we expect on this next sprint relay?
Alrighty, so sprint relay. It's one person working at a time. 4 males and 4 females must finish 8 elements. The players can substitute at any time for the element, though there is only one person on the grid at a time. This is when emotions are high. This is personal responsibility for every single element. If you do it wrong, you do it wrong, and there's nobody to blame but you. This is where all the drama ensued last week when we left off. So this is going to be so much fun to watch. And if we can get the elements up over here. We have 165-pound snatches, L-sit rope climbs, triple unders, suicide runs, 40-pound single dumbbell overhead squats, 20-pound med balls over the 12-foot outrigger, which is a brand new element introduced for the very first time to the Grid League, freestanding handstand push-ups, and 250-pound clusters. And on the side of that, you'll see where the element is going to be taking place and just how many reps you have to do.
Yeah, and it's a lot to take in. But again, like you said, it's probably the most exciting race we'll see in all the matches all day long. And it doesn't have as much meaning right now, but I guarantee you in matches later on today, it will. But for these breakers and for these Lions, every race matters equal. They want a race win.
Yep.
And in the sprint relay, it counts a little more. It's worth 3 points.
Yep.
So Lions didn't throw their bonus flag. They're going to keep it in their pocket, but this race is worth 3 points to the victor. 1 point as long as the other team crosses that finish line. Right now, breakers are only playing for point differential.
That's right.
Teams are set. Looks like it's going to be Alex Oliveras to start off for the breakers. Mario Santaella for the Lions. Breakers in the blue on your screen right now. Lions in the black. 165-pound snatches. The elements do not change for males and females. Whatever it says is what it's going to happen, whoever is lifting or performing the element.
That's right. So you better have your strongest people out here ready to do it. Even if it's a male or female, it's going to be the same weight.
Final rep for Mario Santaella. 2 to go for Oliveras. He's going to hand it off to Coleman, who'll have 2 reps. Jesse Coleman, 165-pound snatch. Easy money. Cardona back on the ropes. Who better?
Who better?
It looks like he's going to do 1 rep, though, and Laura Sanchez is going to finish it off with that final rep. You wanted to see her L-sits.
I did want to see her L-sits. I was waiting for it. There she goes.
Grid League rookie Bethany Jackson on your screen in the blue for the breakers. Sanchez gets that L-sit. She's done.
It is not hard to go against veterans in the sprint relay either.
Back on the grid floor is going to be Eric Cardona, 12 triple unders. Yes, you may not be able to see it on the screen, but that jump rope is going to be passing 3 times underneath their feet every time they jump. Few trip-ups for Cardona.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if fatigue is setting in for Cardona. You're going to have Carrasquero on the floor for the breakers.
We've seen Cardona in almost every single race today, I think.
Again, one of the top names to watch for MVP on the year. Not only on his own team, but for the entire Grid League. As Carrasquero knocks out his triple unders, and Carrasquero has gotten the breakers back into this race.
Wow. Amazing speed on those triple unders.
Caitlin Dent Hernandez, Paula Leyes on the floor. Excuse me, it was Leyes, now it's Vanover.
Very smooth transition. I thought it was still Leyes too.
Pybas. Vanover crossing through, finish line, back, and then a grand to the finish line.
Are they going to switch out?
They did. Claudia Recke is done for the race as she crosses the line. Dent Hernandez is done for the race. Here comes Lavallee and Vetterkin. Austin Lavallee making easy work of those overhead squats.
Ooh, she got springs in her hips the way it looked like she was hitting those. Wow. The speed. Vita hits that 4-point touch, headed to the finish line. As Wilson Bailey is gonna come out and hit those med balls over the 12-foot rigger. Who better? Look at the size of him.
Now again, an opportunity where size does matter here, as Anthony Garcia, excuse me, it's not Anthony Garcia. It looks like it's going to be Wilson Bailey. You haven't seen him all match long. You're seeing him now.
Yep.
One of the tallest players on the floor. They both get it over. Bailey and Pybas will 4-point touch and sprint to the finish line. We have 3 elements to go. 6 freestanding handstand push-ups. 3 clusters.
And Bethany Jackson going against another very strong veteran here.
Jackson falls over. You're going to have 3 clusters at 250 pounds. It used to be Marcos Medina who was the closer. It's going to be Racket Rodriguez. Eduardo Rodriguez on the quadrant number 4. 3 clusters, 250 pounds on the bar.
Oh, yeah, he's going to wreck it.
To make it 8 straight race wins. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to close it out, and the Lions are going to take this match with a final score of 22-11. As Brousseau crosses the finish line, and the Palm Beach Breakers will take their 1 point. But the Lions will go to 3-1. They're going to stand atop of the Southern Conference. The Breakers